This is a video of how to make royal icing for the Unicorn 1 icing printer. We have the components here. This is a bowl of 3 ounces of confectioner sugar, and it has also 2 teaspoons of meringue powder in the bowl. There's meringue powder. We have 15 milliliters of liquid here, which is composed of water, blue food coloring, and a little bit of flavoring. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pour this 15 milliliters of water into the area where there's the meringue powder. And the first thing we're going to do, it's important to get all the liquid in there because this is very sensitive to the amount of liquid that you have. First thing we're going to do is mix meringue powder in the liquid, and I think this tends to distribute the meringue powder better through the powdered sugar. Some recipes call for mixing meringue powder and powdered sugar first before you do the water or the liquid, but it seems to work okay this way too. So now we just mix it. We keep stirring until the sugar is entirely absorbed within the blue mass of icing there. This entire mixing process takes about 1 minute, and you are not only kind of distributing the components evenly, but you're also beating air into the icing. Take the syringe, and there's an air hole down here, so we're going to shove icing in there and push the air out. There's a stopper that goes to the top up here, and so you have to leave room for that, and that'll produce more than you need. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take out some of the top in order to make room for the stopper that's going to go in there, and then we'd like to clean it off, and you can use a knife or you can use a rag. I'm going to use a rag here and get that clean. Okay, you may have noticed that down the bottom here, a little air bubble, and what you do about that is you get that cap with the syringe. You do this. That air bubble, if you keep doing that, will actually float up to the top. You see the air bubble, you can't really see it anymore. It's somewhere in the middle there. As the machine vibrates, it tends to, the air bubbles tend to come out anyway. Really small air bubbles are hard to get out, but otherwise this is okay. So there you have it. There you have a filled syringe, and it's ready to put the stopper in and put on the machine and run. What we're going to do now is show how to put the clamp on the syringe with the rubber stopper and install the needle. We've cleaned out a little more around there, and you should always, if you're going to let it sit for a while, put a piece of plastic on the top to keep the top icing from drying out. So the way you do this is very simple. We'll take this off, and this is one of the needles. It has a lure lock, and you slide it in there and turn it, and that's it. Rubber stopper goes on the top here, and you take your top clamp, you slide this in like that and turn it 90 degrees, and then you tighten your thumb screws. Make sure you get it turned. It'll turn till it stops. You tighten your thumb screws. They don't have to be really tight, because when you apply air pressure through this tube, this stopper expands and actually seals against the tube and also pushes some against this. With 30 pounds of pressure in here, this is about a square inch, so you got about 30 pounds pushing that out. So that'll lock up very nicely. And now the next task is to go install this on the machine, which we will do. The next thing we're going to do is install the icing syringe in the Unicorn printer. Install the syringe through the hole and make sure that the needle goes through the bottom hole, and also make sure that the syringe part that extends below the syringe fits also into the hole and is solidly down. The other thing we've done here is we have positioned the icing truck over the 0 point X and Y, and we've also lowered the icing truck down so that the icing needle just barely touches the surface of the icing platform. This is a 0 position, and we're going to have to home the computer to tell it that it is at that position. And we'll be doing that right now. This is a Linux screen, and we're now going to start the Linux CNC program, previously called EMC2. We go over here to the launch icon and launch the program. And you see it comes up with a screen. We'll make it larger. And that screen says Linux CNC. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the power on to the system. This is the emergency stop button, which we will hit. And we are now out of emergency stop. This is the power on button, which we'll hit. We have just placed the icing needle tip at the 0 position, and now we have to home the system, and that tells it that's where the icing tip is, and that is the reference point for the program to do the icing. Here's home axis X. You see a little dot there that indicates it's home. Here's home axis Y, and here's home axis Z. So we're all set up now. We have to load the program that's going to do the icing itself. And we go to File, Recent Files, and we're going to do the flower. So I click on that, and this shows us that it's going to make, or intends to make, 100 10 by 10 rows and columns of these small flowers. So we are all set now. We have to make sure the pressure is on. We have to make sure the switches are on for power to the motors, and also the icing is in automatic. Ready to go now. We're going to start the program. You can see from the first icing icon that these are very flat, and the liquid is a relatively low viscosity, so it's going to spread a little bit when it's iced. when the pressure was applied. That is caused by the air which has been beaten into the icing from getting, for the bubbles in there to collapse. A little bit of air compresses, and so the blue gets a little bit darker. See it get lighter there as the air expands? I suspect you can see that on the video. There it got darker again. The icing printer is very happy to keep on doing this all day, until it runs out of icing anyway. It does exactly the same thing each time. It's very accurate. And the only differences that you'll see are differences in the icing. Occasionally you'll see a break in the icing. And that's when there's a bubble entrained that comes out. And there's no icing there, so it's a break in the line. It's now on the last one, I believe. Yes, that's the 10th one. We'll come back to the front and start over again on column 2. Well, I can't see where the icing is down to, but it's down low. So this is the last one. I guess we haven't run out of icing. It's been 3.5 hours now since we iced the last icon here, and these were very wet icons. The icing was very thin, and so you'd normally expect that there'd be extra time for drying, and there usually is, but these are about ready to come off. Usually you can just go and push one and it comes off. Now see, those came pretty easily. This one a little stuck, but you can do that. So they're coming off. If we waited another half hour, they would just slide off. Whoop, broke that one. They would slide off the page by just tilting the platform. But these are ready to come off. Another way to get these off is to put an edge underneath them and run it underneath them, like this, and they suddenly pop off. These are coming off pretty easily. There you are. You have a pile of iced icons ready to put on your cake. That worked pretty well. Thank you. See you.